Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from Rome. Pope Francis has once again begun his visits to Roman parishes after taking a break due to travel and the Summit on Abuse. This past weekend, he celebrated Mass with the parishioners of St. Crispin just outside of Rome. During his homily, the Pope warned of hypocrisy and gossiping and the great harm it brings.
Il Signore vuole insegnarci a non andare criticando gli altri, a non andare guardando i difetti altrui. Guarda primo guarda i tuoi difetti. Oh padre, io non ne ho. Complimenti. Ti assicuro che se non te ne accorgi di averli, qui li troverai in purgatorio, è meglio vederli lì, qui.
The Pope observed that hypocrisy leads to gossiping. He said the tongue has the power to destroy like an atomic bomb.
No, padre, che tante volte gente cattiva e ha tanti difetti, ma va bene, sii coraggioso, sii coraggiosa e dirlo in faccia. Tu sei cattiva perché stai facendo questo. Dirlo in faccia, non dalle spalle, non dalla schiena, non da dietro. Dillo in faccia. Ma non vuole ascoltarmi. Dillo a chi può fare il rimedio di questo, chi può correggere, ma non dirlo nel chiacchiericcio, perché il chiacchiericcio non risolve niente, anzi fa peggiorare le cose e ti porta alla guerra.
Pope Francis even gave some advice in avoiding gossip. He told them to pray for the person and ask God to help overcome this problem. This was before he jokingly told them this.
Quando tu senti la voglia di sparlare di qualcuno, morditi la lingua. Forte, Perché così si gonfierà la lingua e non potrai parlare. È una medicina pratica, È molto pratica.
Looking now at news from around the country, Archbishop Thomas Rodi of Mobile, Alabama is asking for prayers for those who lost their lives and their loved ones, as well as those who have lost homes and businesses after an EF4 tornado with wind speeds estimated at 170 miles per hour hit a section of southeastern Alabama. It was one of several tornadoes that struck the area with devastating winds, destroying homes and killing at least 23 people, including 3 children ages 6, 9, and 10. In Lee County, Alabama, where the tornado hit ground in the town of Beauregard, the sheriff's office told reporters that 50 people were injured and that the number of missing was in the double digits, and they do expect the number of fatalities to rise. Archbishop Rodi, in a statement, said that Catholic Social Services of the Archdiocese of Mobile has reached out to the pastors of the affected areas to offer assistance for those in need, and Catholic Social Services stands ready to be a part of the recovery efforts in the area. In news from the Vatican, Pope Francis met March 4th with supervisors, staff members, and assistants working at the Vatican Secret Archives during an audience to mark the 80th anniversary of Pope Pius XII's election, March 2nd, 1939. At the audience, the Pope announced that documents related to the wartime pontificate of Pope Pius XII will be open to scholars in 2020.
The historical interpretation of Pope Pius XII's pontificate changed after the theater play The Vicar by the German Rolf Halhuths. In it, he accused the then Pope of having remained silent during the Holocaust. The reality is that Pope Pius XII secretly authorized the opening of the convents in Rome and Italy to receive Jews escaping from the Nazis. Yad Vashem is Israel's official Holocaust Memorial Institute. The center has for years asked for the archives to be open to explain Pope Pius XII's role during those years. Pope Francis has listened.
Ho deciso che l'apertura degli archivi vaticani per il pontificato di Pio XII avverrà il 2 marzo 2020.
It is Vatican policy to release internal documents relating to the pontiff 70 years after the papacy. In this case, Pope Francis has authorized that the archives be open 8 years ahead of schedule. He announced this during a meeting with the employees of the Vatican Archives, better known as the Vatican Secret Archives. He said the documents, soon to be available to scholars, will range from March 1939 to October 1958. The Pope lamented that the image of Pope Pius XII is victim to prejudice and exaggeration. He said he hopes the documents will shed the necessary light to explain the role of his predecessor.
Assumo questa decisione sentito il parere dei miei più stretti collaboratori, con animo sereno e fiducioso, sicuro che la seria e oggettiva ricerca storica saprà valutare nella sua giusta luce, con appropriata critica, momenti di esaltazione di quei pontefici e senza dubbio anche momenti di gravi difficoltà, di tormentate decisioni, di umana e cristiana prudenza.
In fact, the process of canonization of Pope Pius XII is underway. In 2009, he was declared venerable.
Staff at the Vatican Secret Archives, which holds the bulk of the documents related to the wartime Pope, have been working for the past 13 years to get the material organized, cataloged, and accessible to researchers. And finally in the news, Pope Francis sent a video message which was played at the recent inauguration ceremony for the opening of a refurbished and expanded pediatric medical center in Bangui, Central African Republic. In the message, the Pope said the people will encounter Christ every time they encounter and are attentive to the needs of children, especially those who are suffering and fragile. The Pope also talked about his visit to the hospital in 2015 when he met a group of children suffering from malnutrition. The Pope recalled the pain he saw in the eyes of the children and said that the doctor who accompanied him said most of them would die because they were affected by both malaria and malnutrition. The refurbished medical center, which will include a therapeutic renutrition unit, was renovated with $3.4 million from the Pope's charitable funds and hundreds of thousands from other donors, including the Vatican Police, who held a variety of fundraising events. Bambino Gesù Pediatric Hospital near the Vatican and other organizations help provide staff training and support. Well, that's all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.